I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. And today's video is about retrograde planets. I was requested to do a video on retrograde planets. What do they mean and what they are actually doing in your birth chart? What happens when you have a retrograde planet in your horoscope? So there are lots and lots of conceptions about retrograde planets. Some people say that a retrograde planet is the planet which is the most malefic planet. Some people say that it is the benefic planet. Then the malefic planets give good results, good planets give malefic results whenever they get retrograde. So there's so many different schools of thought when it comes to retrograde planets. So today I'm going to share my opinion about what do you literally mean by a retrograde planet and what it will actually do in your birth chart. So firstly, what is the meaning of the word retrograde? Something which has a backward motion. Okay, it is going in the reverse order. Okay, and in the Sanskrit it is known as the Vakri Graha. Okay, now Vakri means a bent or a curve. Vakri means crooked, evil. So do these planets actually act as crooked planets or evil planets? Well, we will see that later, but just let's understand what this retrograde motion means in astronomy. So I have made a sketch over here. This is the sun, this is the earth, and this is planet Mars. So the planets which travel in the outer orbits, okay, the outer orbits of the solar system, these planets like Mars, Jupiter, Sun, planet Saturn, these planets have a very slow speed. They move very slowly in their orbits, okay? And Earth is comparatively moving faster than them. So this position of Mars, Earth, this position can be said as this is a direct motion of the planet. Now, when Earth moves very closely, it is in a proximity to planet Mars, this position is the retrograde position. The Earth is passing over the planet Mars, and planet Mars is a slow-moving planet. So when we move, the Earth moves fastly, passing over the slow-moving Mars. The Mars appears to be retrograde. It appears to move backwards, And just like you are driving a car in a quite good speed and you pass over a vehicle, a car which is moving quite slowly, So whenever you will be crossing over it or passing over from that car will look very, it will look like it is going backwards, because it is in slow motion. So this is what happens with planets which are in the outer orbit, like Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. So these are the slow moving planets. Now what happens with the planet Mercury and Venus? So over here, it happens something like this, okay? This is Mercury and this is Earth. This position is like the direct motion of Mercury. But what happens, in retrograde time, the Mercury comes in between the sun and the Earth, and again, it is in quite proximity. It is quite close to planet Earth, and it is just in between the Earth and Sun. So this is the time when the Mercury appears to be retrograde. So these are the two conditions which actually, describes why planets appear to be retrograde. They're not moving backward. It is just the difference between the speed of the two planets, which is the reason we feel that a planet is going backward. But it is just that it is a slow moving planet, and number two, this planet is very close to planet Earth. So this is all about retrograde motion. It doesn't move backward, it appears to move back. So what are the few things you should know about the retrograde planets? Well, firstly, planets like Sun and Moon, they never get retrograde. And the lunar nodes, Rahu and Ketu, well, they're always retrograde in motion. Secondly, a retrograde planet is a planet which does not move backwards, it appears to move backwards. Basically, these are the planets which are moving quite slowly. Number three, these planets, give a very high energy to Earth. That means these planets are actually focusing all their energy towards you. We have atmosphere. Okay, atmosphere protects us from the sun's harmful radiation. If we didn't have atmosphere, then definitely we all might be suffering from certain skin disorders, because atmosphere protect us from lots of incoming radiation from sun. So this is what happens when you don't have atmosphere around you. These planets are directly sending their energies on you. There is no filter in between, there is no atmosphere in between. So these planets are really focusing all their energies on you. So definitely a retrograde planet is one of the most strongest planet in your birth chart. And lastly, a retrograde planet can never get retrograde suddenly. Okay, these are the planets which come into a stationary phase, then they get retrograde, and when it's time for them to come back to direct motion, these planets again come back to stationary phase, and then they go direct. Now the question is, how do these planets actually work in your horoscope? Well, these planets work normally just like the other planets do. The working or the action of retrograde planets totally depend upon their sign placement, their house placement, their lordship, just like other planets. A debilitated retrograde planet will be definitely malefic for you. An exalted retrograde planet will give you all kinds of benefits. So it totally depends upon the sign placement, the lordship, and the house placement. The only thing which is different about a retrograde planet is that it is a slow moving planet and it is focusing all its energy on you. So definitely a retrograde planet makes you do things again and again, repeatedly. It challenges your efforts, it slows down the affairs of that house. So suppose, if you have retrograde Mars in your third house, then definitely your courage will be tested, your efforts will be tested, okay? And you might be doing things again and again, to accomplish one thing, you have to put constant efforts on it. And again, you have to start from the scratch, and again you have to repeat your work. It's just like snakes and ladder, you reach on the number 99 and a snake will bite you and you will come back to square one. So this is what happens when Mars is retrograde in the third house. You have to repeat everything again and again, and that is the negative side of a retrograde planet. So of course retrograde planets are the planets these planets will test you according to their sign placement and the house placement. So there's nothing bad about it, but definitely they have the Cheshta Bala. Okay, they have this emotional strength with them, and they are very influential planets in a birth chart. So this was all about the true nature of a retrograde planet, and soon I will be coming up with videos on what happens when you have Saturn retrograde or Jupiter retrograde. I'm going to make a series on retrograde planets too. So if you like this video, do subscribe to my channel and stay connected. Till then, goodbye.